Apple just announced new Macs. No event, no invite, just a press release a few weeks before the September iPhone launch. And there are two numbers you need to know. The first one is $899. That's the new starting price for the Mac Mini. And here's what makes that interesting. The exact same machine with 16 gigabytes of memory and 256 gigabytes of storage launched at $599 back in 2024. Apple raised it to $799 in May when the memory shortage hit, and today that same configuration is $899. The second number is even more interesting. The new M5 Ultra is the first Apple Silicon system on a chip with a quad-die architecture, with 4 dies working together as a single processor. So what actually changed here, and is this new generation worth the higher price? Let's take a look. Let's start with the Mac Mini, which now comes with either the all-new M6 or the M5 Pro. M6 is Apple's first 2nm chip, and its CPU design is particularly interesting because it combines 2 supercores, 4 performance cores, and 6 efficiency cores. Apple says it delivers the world's fastest single-threaded performance. The GPU goes up to 12 cores, and every one of those cores now includes a neural accelerator. This is the first time Apple has brought that to the Mac Mini. There's also a new dual 16-core neural engine, which Apple says is up to twice as fast as the previous generation. M6 supports up to 32 gigabytes of unified memory, with memory bandwidth reaching 170 gigabytes per second. And compared with the M4 Mac Mini, Apple says M6 delivers up to 40% faster CPU performance, 2 times faster graphics, 4 times faster AI performance, and 2 times faster storage. The base model comes with 16 gigabytes of unified memory and 256 gigabytes of storage for $899. If you need more performance, Apple has now added M5 Pro to the Mac Mini. This is the same M5 Pro family that debuted in the MacBook Pro earlier this year. M5 Pro goes up to an 18-core CPU and a 20-core GPU, supports up to 64 gigabytes of unified memory, and reaches 307 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth. The GPU also gets third-generation hardware-accelerated ray tracing, which makes it far more suitable for professional video, three-dimensional work, visual effects, game development, software development, and heavier AI workloads. The base M5 Pro Mac Mini comes with a 15-core CPU, a 16-core GPU, 24 gigabytes of unified memory, and 512 gigabytes of storage starting at $1,699. And Apple has an interesting rendering claim here. In Blender, Apple says the M5 Pro Mac Mini delivers up to 4.5 times faster ray traced rendering than the Mac Mini with M2 Pro and up to 1.4 times faster than M4 Pro. Now let's talk about connectivity, because there are two changes here that actually matter. First, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet is now standard, with 10 gigabit Ethernet available as an option. For anyone moving large files to a NAS or working across a high-speed network, that's a meaningful upgrade. Both models also support Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6. You get 2 front USB-C ports, HDMI, Ethernet, and a 3.5mm headphone jack with support for high-impedance headphones. Second, the Thunderbolt setup depends on the processor. The M6 Mac Mini gets 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, while the M5 Pro gets 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports. And Thunderbolt 5 also opens the door to clustering multiple Mac Minis together for demanding AI workloads. Apple has also added Genlock support over USB-C for professional camera workflows. Now let's move to the Mac Studio, which comes with either M5 Max or the all-new M5 Ultra. Starting with M5 Max, you get an 18-core CPU and up to a 40-core GPU. It supports up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory, with memory bandwidth reaching 614 gigabytes per second. Apple says M5 Max delivers up to 3.9 times faster AI performance than the previous generation, along with up to 50% faster graphics. And for professional video workflows, the Media Engine supports hardware acceleration for H.264, HEVC, ProRes, and AV1 decoding. And now we get to the most interesting part, M5 Ultra. Apple didn't simply add more cores to M5 Max. For the first time in Apple Silicon, M5 Ultra uses a quad-die architecture in a single system on a chip. Apple's Ultra Fusion technology connects 2 dual-die M5 Max chips. allowing all four dies to operate together as one unified processor. The interconnect provides more than 4.4 terabytes per second of inter-die bandwidth. That's what makes this architecture possible at all. The result is up to a 36-core CPU made up of 12 supercores and 24 performance cores and up to an 80-core GPU. MEM5 Ultra supports up to 512 gigabytes of unified memory with up to 1.2 terabytes per second of memory bandwidth. That's 50% more bandwidth than M3 Ultra. And for local AI, that's enormous. Memory capacity determines how large a model you can keep entirely on the machine, while memory bandwidth becomes critical as data moves through the system. Apple says M5 Ultra delivers up to 4.3 times the peak AI compute performance of M3 Ultra, with twice the video encode and decode blocks of M5 Max. Apple is taking this further than a single machine. You can now cluster multiple Mac Studios together over Thunderbolt 5 using RDMA. That creates a shared memory pool across systems. Apple says four Mac Studios together can deliver up to 3 times faster AI inference than a single system. So let's come back to pricing. The M6 Mac Mini starts at $899. The M5 Pro starts at $1,699. M5 Mac Studio at $2,499. And M5 Ultra at $5,499. And remember that $899 Mac Mini is the same 16GB, 256GB configuration that launched at $599 with the M4 generation. Pre-orders are open now in 30 countries and regions, with arrivals on September 22nd. The 512GB unified memory Mac Studio arrives in late October. So, which one actually makes sense? The M6 Mac Mini is the obvious choice for general creative work, while the M5 Pro makes more sense for serious video and local AI. The M5 Max is for sustained professional workloads, and the M5 Ultra is for those huge memory capacities and extreme compute needed for enormous AI workloads. So, is the $899 Mac Mini still a good deal after that price increase, or is the quad-die M5 Ultra the more interesting story here? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if this breakdown was useful, subscribe for more Apple coverage. Thanks for watching.